The Queen often said that the modern Commonwealth was a voluntary, equal organisation that bore no resemblance to the empires of the past. Throughout her reign, that institution evolved as countries joined and others gained more independence. Professor Andrekos Varnava is an expert on British Imperial and Colonial history. He's from Flinders University and he joins us now from Adelaide. Andrekos Varnava, welcome. So first of all, define for us what the Commonwealth actually is. How many countries were part of it when Elizabeth became Queen 70 years ago, and how many countries are part of it now?
Yes, well, the Commonwealth was, as it's said, formed in 1949, so it was only 3 years before she became monarch. There weren't many countries in the Commonwealth when she became Queen. However, that quickly changed as countries became independent. There are 56 members currently, and it was primarily, because it was only around for 3 years, she could model it in her own, way that she wanted. And for her, it was really about maintaining relations with those countries that had a connection to the British Empire. There are a couple of countries that have joined, Mozambique and Rwanda, that didn't have that connection. But that just, I suppose, illustrates how, for some countries, it's an important community of nations. I suppose one of the main changes that occurred, it was in 1960 when, after some debate, they decided to allow Cyprus into it, which many thought was too small, but others said we should let it in. And that allowed for so many other, of course, small nations to join it.
And so how did she approach the issue of relations with Commonwealth countries and the transition from colonialism?
Well, I think she approached it in a very similar way to how she approached being a constitutional monarch. I think she approached the constitutional monarchy in the UK as really a ceremonial role. She has not wanted to become involved in political matters, regardless of which government has been in power. And it's pretty much the same story when it comes to the Commonwealth. Non-political service and maintaining relations and facilitating those relations through the Commonwealth of Nations. Of course, the Commonwealth has from time to time taken strong action against countries for human rights abuses. But again, that has primarily been led by the governments that make up the Commonwealth rather than the Queen herself, although she did have strong views about South African apartheid and Mandela and so forth.
And how did she handle the discussion around the wrongs of colonialism and the push from some quarters for reparations? Well,
I think she's, by and large, stayed out of those discussions. Again, those discussions are primarily the domain of governments and courts, indeed courts as well. She has, I think it's fair to say, there has never been any sort of, formal apology for colonial violence. However, I think it's been fair to say that there has been a sort of acknowledgement of that there was colonial violence and basically the courts, in some cases like Kenya and more recently in Cyprus, there have been attributed monetary payments, I should say, for that period.
And what future is there now for this institution, the Commonwealth?
Well, I think under Charles III, the Commonwealth will continue as it has been with his mother. He will continue to, foster and facilitate relations through the Commonwealth of Nations. Whether some countries decide in the future to become republics or not, that doesn't matter. Many of the countries in the Commonwealth of Nations are republics. Many of them became republics upon independence. Others decided to become republics later. I don't think that the Commonwealth itself will become more politically active or have greater, authority than what it's had in the past. I think he will continue to maintain the same type of Commonwealth that his mother had.
Andrekos Varnava, thanks so much for talking to us today from Adelaide.
Thank you.